The power of Sir Alex Ferguson. I've heard that the coach can't do anything once the players cross the white line into the field. 10,000 times no. You can feel him in your head all the time. You'll think, God, I have to face him at halftime, either I should start playing better or he's going to rip the box out. Skull is part of the book read, My Autobiography by Gary Neville. In 20 years of playing professionally, Gary Neville played for a single club, Manchester United. Except for Sir Alex Ferguson and a few others like Ryan Giggs, no one knows Mew better than Neville. His book read, My Autobiography tells many interesting stories about Mew and the England team. You are the puppet at the end of his rope. Deep down, you are the puppet at the end of his rope. He controls, makes, or breaks your career. He decides whether it will be a great Saturday night, well done son, or a sleepless weekend for you. It's up to him whether you enjoy a delicious meal and glass of wine with your family after a game or sit in painful silence. Coach helpless outside the touchline? You won't hear that from any Mew player. You know Sir Alex's eyes are on you, so you'll try to look like you're focused somewhere. You pretend not to see him. Giggs became a master at it for years, or you start a completely unnecessary conversation with a teammate to fool him into thinking you're busy. But you know he doesn't miss a thing about you. You know the rebuke will come at halftime or after the game, unless you slyly exit the narrow doorway. That obsession affects you greatly. It makes you regret any mistakes and redouble your efforts to correct them. You could argue that is the greatest talent of a team manager. He always makes you feel his presence. He's always there. On the training ground, Sir Alex was never the one to lead the training sessions, he assigned other assistant coaches. But somehow, he never misses anything. He would show up out of the blue, pacing the side of the border, chatting with assistants or talking on the phone, but always on the lookout. Everyone knew he was a workaholic, arriving at the training ground before the milkman every morning. On match day, Sir Alex comes to life. From 13:30 is the team meeting, it is his moment, the most important 30 minutes of his week. Sir Alex will tell us the starting lineup, how we will play, the opponent's strengths and weaknesses. Years later, we also had videos to watch, but he always spoke from his handwritten notes. There can be half a dozen things to do, some for groups, some for individuals. He could refer to a dangerous player, or the need to avoid conceding set pieces. Then, just before you step out, Sir Alex will be standing at the door of the dressing room. No player left without him there before the game and after the halftime break. You walk past Sir Alex and he shakes hands with each player and each member of the coaching staff. He doesn't have to say anything. That's the boss, probably the greatest coach ever in this country. What extra motivation do you need? Disaster season by a statement. Sir Alex's influence and intensity has never diminished within a millisecond, even after he turned 70. So it was a surprise when he announced his retirement after the 2001/02 season, means just turned 60. That's a waste. We won the Premier League 3 seasons in a row, we used to be a trampling machine over our opponents. But Sir Alex's statements now every week bring new conjecture about the future of the club, about who will take over. Most of the talk took place outside the club, but its unsettling impact was undeniable. There is no decline in Sir Alex's power, but I guess people subconsciously start to waste energy thinking about what lies ahead. Although you are not allowed to have a single distraction while chasing titles. At the beginning of the 2001/02 season, Jaap Stam was sold to Lazio. His autobiography is said to be a bomb that destroys the team. But not so. In fact, Sir Alex thinks that Stam started slowly, and selling the 29-year-old player is worth it. Laurent Blanc, Ruud van Nistelrooy, Sebastian Veron arrived that summer. Seba was bought from Lazio for £28 million. I was excited when Seba arrived, he was successful in Italy. Seba's South American flair combined with our British tenacity will be perfect as we strive to conquer the European Cup. Sadly, it didn't happen. Seba was great at every step but couldn't integrate Seba into the team. Using him alongside Roy Keane meant pushing Paul Scholes up as a second striker behind Ruud. Scholesy was not happy when asked to play with his back to goal. We have a team of good, but well-matched players. I can understand what Sir Alex is trying to do. We need to control the games better in Europe, control and change the pace, instead of just trying to move forward. The Champions League defeats to Real Madrid and Bayern Munich taught us that. But now we are lost in the middle. We tried to get through the middle but Scholesy and Seba got in the way. We still have wingers, but they're passing the ball to Van Nistelrooy, who doesn't like to use his head. Van Nistelrooy is a true goal scorer, obsessed with hanging around in the box, which is both a huge power and a huge disappointment at times. He was the only teammate that I almost got into a fight with. On Middlesbrough, I passed the ball over the edge. Van Nistelrooy raised his hands in the air as if to say, "What am I going to do with it?" I yelled, "Chase the ball, you lazy man. I think Mark Hughes, Andy Cole, or Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will chase it all day. But not Van Nistelrooy. He wants to save energy for the penalty area." After the game, I was sitting in the corner taking off my shoes when he rushed towards me, swearing, "Don't shout at me on the field." I stood up and tried to push him away. The other boys jumped in to separate us. But we shook hands the next day. I can understand his point. Van Nistelrooy plays for 18 yards, in terms of goal to opportunity he is unbelievable. Van Nistelrooy has an iron mentality that he was born to score goals. He has a certain arrogance. Maybe he thinks I'm a hairy English right back, while he's Van Basten's heir. In December, we dropped to 9th place after 3 consecutive losses. This is not how Sir Alex wants to say goodbye. I am very happy when in February 2002, Sir Alex decided not to retire. He gathered all the players in the dressing room to say this. There was no great emotion on either side, that's not how the dressing room works, but deep down we were all very happy. All but perhaps except for a few. Dwight Yorke's face darkens because he's being abandoned by Sir Alex, and he could start all over again under a new manager. Sir Alex had just left the room when Keane said, "Wow, Yorkie, your life is over." Sir Alex's decision to stay is a big boost, ending all uncertainty, but it's too late to salvage a domestic season rife with inconsistencies. The advantage is Van Nistelrooy's form. He scored 23 goals in 32 games in his first Premier League season. We lost too many points to Arsenal and were beaten by Leverkusen in the Champions League semi-finals, empty-handed that season. Unfortunately, I had to leave the field in the second leg against Leverkusen. After the X-ray, the doctor said I broke my 5th metatarsal bone. What about the World Cup? Sorry, no chance. Will last from 8 to 12 weeks. Even bad at math, I know trauma has ruled me out. It was really a disaster, because I was at the peak of my career.